Just doing a breakdown of a style of half guard passing or a style of crossface you can use. So we'll have a look here at Janaina Lebre. I probably pronounced that wrong, but I'm doing my best. Okay. And just something I noticed, which it's pretty common at the higher levels, but I actually rarely see some of the lower belts use this, and I think they should. So I just kind of want to make people aware of this. Especially, it's a gi specific way of doing a crossface. But can you see here the grip on the lapel here and the forearm doing the crossfacing? So in a normal crossface, you use your shoulder to turn your opponent away, but here you'll see that forearm doing the job. Okay, and this has some distinct advantages compared to the shoulder-based crossface. I want to discuss why that is, like why you would use this style of crossface, the advantage it brings, and then we'll just have a quick look at how this eventuated into a pass. So you'll see actually she changes from this crossface into a crossbody half guard and then passes, and I'll just talk a little bit about what may have caused that change in approach and why she was able to almost force that and eventually secure the pass. All right, so you can see now she's in the crossbody position here, and eventually she'll free her leg. The foot, now it's just the foot caught, stepping out and securing the pass, controlling the bottom leg. So let's take a look at that. All right, so the way the crossface is normally taught is we get our hand very deep, right? Pretty much like towards the armpit. We pull our elbow towards our ribs, and we can now apply good shoulder pressure. Okay, so this is good. There's definitely nothing wrong with the normal crossface. Okay, sorry. Okay. But there's a time when actually I think you should use a slightly different type of crossfaces. Which this one, obviously, like arm deep, pulling back. One of the main functions of the crossface that makes it hard for Jacob to face me. Right, it's hard to turn to his right. Okay, so he might be able to turn his hips in a little bit still. Like he can often still turn, but like a good crossface and a bit of lean even can make that somewhat difficult. Okay, but particularly with the upper body, hard to turn in. So this other crossface, where we're actually gripping more the like the back of the collar here, and we're using our forearm to turn, we'll essentially do the same thing. So if Jacob wants to turn, that's difficult. I'm using my elbow, kind of opening that out so my forearm turns him away, right? So when would I use this as opposed to the other one? And the main time is when I'm lower on the body, okay? Because if I try to, let's say Jacob's got a good frame here, right? He's under my chin, so I haven't actually won the battle. See, I haven't won the battle for this arm. If I try to apply good shoulder pressure here, a lot of the time he can elevate with that frame, and it makes space. See how when I haven't actually won the battle here, by coming forward, I give him space, start to recover. My crossface isn't even that, I can put some weight on it, but it's not amazing here. It's even hard to talk when I do that, okay? So I usually go for this shoulder-based crossface when now I've got an underhook, I can start to put some pressure and frame my head now. It doesn't bother me too much at this point, right? See how I've got my shoulder underneath his arm and taken it out of position, okay? But when he's winning that battle and I don't have good position, I don't really want to go forward. I'd rather control the position, like what I can control, which is going to be the hips, right? So instead, when I use, if you look at here, if I try to control, if I keep a deep crossface, right? It's hard to control the hips. I can grip here, but it's not that great, okay? And if Jacob's trying to bump me forward, he might be able to, okay? But if I change to this grip on the collar, notice how far I can take my head towards the hips, right? And then I can get this pants grip where my elbow hooks around his butt and I grip onto the pants, somewhere here. So I'm now anchored. It's very difficult to bring me too high. One of the battles in half guard, if Jacob can bring me higher than him, so yeah, and get an underhook or whatever, this starts to become a real problem when I'm too high on half guard. So the person bond's often trying to bring you up, and by gripping the hips, you basically killed that. My whole forearm's locked in, trying to bring me forward. Even if he gets an underhook, which is hard to get, but hey, go for it. It's hard to bring me forward when I've got this position. So I want my left hand to be doing something, and I can make it worse for him if I grip here and I make him face away as I switch my base. So in this match, you'll see Janaina applies this crossface, switches her base, right? And now that, like once you're really anchored in and you've turned and you can feel that they're not going to bring you forward, you can actually start stepping up on this leg and starting to free your knee. And that's not too hard of a challenge from here. So she starts reaching back for this to work to free her knee, all right? Now she ended up changing, so I just wanted to like mostly talk about like, this is why we might use this particular crossface. We can anchor to the hips. So if you're passing and you're low down and you haven't won this battle yet, don't try to go for a heavy crossface up here. It's probably a bad idea. Instead, go for the collar, turn side on, so you bring your head close to the hips. A much better strategy, which then maybe he lifts his arm up, maybe he gives me an opening and I see a chance to climb high. That's fine sometimes. Or we can try to pass wheelie out. So from here, I walk my foot up. I can start, as I lean across, totally shut down his ability to even really reach for my legs, so I can start trying to free my leg. So in this match, Janaina's opponent started to reach underneath this leg. Okay, so this is one thing you might do if you're worried about the deep half guard. So can you pull me through towards the deep half guard? So he might end up in the deep half guard position. So as she sensed that arm going underneath the leg, Janaina changes to a crossbody position. She takes this arm over the top, and now she's in a really good spot because she's killed that arm, right? This arm's now like, it can't frame, rolled the hips near the head, and come over with a nice high underhook. So kind of killing both arms are out of the equation. And then you're left with this battle, just turn. And then you're left with this battle just to free your leg from here. Okay, so she starts working her foot free. She's at this point, you just got to use your legs to free your leg, keep good upper body pressure. And then lastly, your opponent might try to get to their knees, for example, like this, which could create a scramble. If you want to consolidate the pass earlier, you're going to pick up this bottom leg. Okay, so just go back. Before he gets to his knees, he starts to work towards that. Pick up this bottom leg and lift it up. Keep going for your knees. He can't get to his knees as long as this knee stays elevated. All right, so let's just have a look at that again. So I can just talk about some of the things that we discussed. All right, so see that grip coming around the butt onto the pants here, that hooks, that makes it very hard. Yeah, and also just like really notice how far crossbody you have to be with this. So you want your head down near their hip. A lot of people I've seen try to do this, they keep their head up near the head, and you lose all that hip connection. A lot of this is actually not even so much about the crossface, but about that hip connection. But the crossface is just this excellent addition that turns your opponent to face away. So we'll kind of see that here, and you can see you can kind of wind up. The more you lean in and flare that elbow open, the more it turns your opponent away. And then I'll just move to the point where they do the switch. Right, here it is. Okay, so she's got that same crossface, got the hip grip, starts reaching towards the legs to pry the legs open. There we go. So she's starting to free her knee line. Right, she had switched base, right, and she's starting to free that knee, and so her opponent starts to reach under the leg. See that? Hooking under the leg. And this is a good time now, with this arm so high, to reach over the top and take control of both arms above the head. So sprawl and change, okay? And now she's like, climbs that elbow up a bit higher. Well, it probably landed a bit lower than she would like, but she was able to climb it, see here, but climbs it back up under the line of the elbow and bringing both arms above the head. You can see that pressure, like it's very hard to get either arm involved now when you're locked in like this. So you're free with your legs to try to free your foot. And obviously they're gonna hold on, but as long as you can keep this pressure on the upper body, very good chance at freeing your legs, and eventually, just at this point, she frees her leg, and you'll see she picks up the bottom leg here. All right, see that? Lifting that, preventing that sprawl out, and consolidating the pass. All right, so that's a very useful grip to use, this modification of the crossface where we're using our forearm. So make sure you try that out in training. If you want more content from me, check out my website, submeta.io.